Welcome to my YouTube channel Wise Whispers, where silence speaks. My name is Sophie, and I am 65 years old. I never imagined that the house I built with love, sacrifice, and decades of hard work would one day become the reason my own son would take me to court. But life has a strange way of revealing people's true faces. It all started on a quiet autumn morning. I was sitting on the porch of my small but beautiful home, sipping tea and watching the leaves fall in the garden my late husband and I had planted together 30 years ago. That house wasn't just walls and a roof, it was filled with memories. Every corner of it held a piece of my life. Then the mail arrived. Among the bills and advertisements was a thick envelope from a law firm. I frowned as I opened it, expecting some mistake. But the moment I read the first line, my hands started shaking. It was a lawsuit. My own son, Daniel, and his wife, Rebecca, were suing me to take ownership of my house. I read the papers again and again, hoping I had misunderstood, but the words didn't change. They claimed the house was rightfully theirs, because they had financially supported me in recent years. Supported me? That was a lie. Yes, Daniel had helped me with groceries once or twice when my knee surgery made it hard for me to go shopping. But this house, I had paid for every brick of it with my late husband. My heart broke that day in a way I cannot fully explain. When Daniel visited later that week, I tried to talk to him calmly. "Daniel," I said softly, "why are you doing this? This is our family home." But Rebecca answered before he could. "You're old, Sophie," she said coldly. "You can't maintain this house forever, it's better if we take it now." Her words felt like a slap. Daniel didn't even look at me. That silence hurt more than the lawsuit. For weeks I barely slept. I kept walking through the rooms of the house, touching the walls, remembering birthdays, Christmas mornings, and the laughter that once filled these halls. Was this really how my life would end? Losing everything to my own child? But what Daniel and Rebecca didn't know was that I had prepared for this moment years ago. After my husband passed away, a kind lawyer had advised me to protect my property in case of family disputes. At the time, I thought it sounded unnecessary, but I followed his advice anyway. So when the court date finally arrived, Daniel and Rebecca walked into the courtroom looking confident, almost smug. Rebecca even smiled at me. They believed victory was guaranteed. Their lawyer stood up and presented their argument. He claimed Daniel had supported me financially and therefore deserved the house. I sat quietly while they spoke. Then my lawyer stood up. He placed a document on the judge's desk. "Your Honor," he said calmly, "the plaintiff's case ignores one very important legal detail." The judge adjusted his glasses. "And what detail is that?" he asked. My lawyer smiled slightly. "Mrs. Sophie transferred ownership of this house 3 years ago into a living trust." The courtroom became silent. Rebecca frowned. Daniel looked confused. The judge continued reading the documents. "According to this trust," my lawyer continued, "Mrs. Sophie retains full lifetime residence rights. The property cannot be sold, claimed, or transferred by anyone while she is alive." Rebecca suddenly stood up. "That's ridiculous," she snapped. But my lawyer wasn't finished. "There's more, Your Honor." He paused. "Upon Mrs. Sophie's passing, the house does not go to Daniel." Daniel's face turned pale. The judge looked up. "Then who inherits it?" he asked. My lawyer answered clearly. "The house will be donated to a local community shelter for elderly people who have been abandoned by their families." The room fell completely silent. Daniel looked at me with shock. Rebecca's mouth dropped open. You gave it away," Daniel whispered. I finally spoke. "Yes," I said calmly. "If my own son could try to throw me out of my home, then this house should belong to people who truly need kindness." Rebecca was furious. Daniel looked ashamed. Within minutes, the judge dismissed their lawsuit. They had no legal claims. None. As they left the courtroom, Daniel stopped near me. For a moment, he looked like the little boy who used to run through my garden chasing butterflies. Mom, I didn't think you'd do this, he said quietly. I looked at him with a heavy heart. I didn't think you'd try to take my home either. He had no answer. That day I walked back into my house, feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. My garden still smelled like roses. The wind still moved gently through the trees. And for the first time since the lawsuit began, I slept peacefully. Sometimes people think kindness means weakness. But kindness does not mean allowing others to destroy you, even if those people are family. And if my story teaches anything, it is this. Morals. Respect and gratitude should never be taken for granted. When greed replaces love, people may lose far more than what they tried to gain.